Hey everyone, my name is Caveman and welcome back to the Sky Harbor Studios YouTube channel. Today we're just sitting at my office desk where I do a lot of my administration work, but I thought I'd take this opportunity to answer some of your questions, and I hope that you find the information as useful as it is insightful. So the first question is by a gentleman named Really from really.music, would be his Instagram handle. And his question is, a big question I'll ask, but it's more of a personal one, is how were you able to finally engineer and do it for a living? So I'm assuming that this question is pertaining to how I started and how long it has been and how I was able to transition from a day job to doing engineering full-time. What I would say is, on average, and anyone who's been doing this for a while can tell you, is that it takes about 10 years to get good at something and finally start to turn a profit. Not enough to make a living out of it, but it takes around 10 years to get the skills, the experiences, fuck up enough times that you would have enough problem-solving skills, meet people, have people fuck you over. I got fucked over like twice for my business. Really getting to know yourself and really asking the hard questions. If this is for you, if this is something that you're willing to sacrifice everything for, if this is something that you're willing to do for free. A lot of people go into things thinking that this is going to be the end all be all, and this is going to pay all the bills and it's going to be fun and everything. But when things start to get ugly, a lot of artists and a lot of people back out. So what I would say is really make sure that this is what you want to do. And that on any given day, you would still do it for free, regardless of whether there's money or anything involved. Going back to what I said about it taking 10 years, there's the whole like put in a certain number of hours, have you put in the time, have you put in the effort and all that? Because it's not just about knowing what to do that's going to set you apart from others and keep you going, but rather it's about how you engage with every customer. Do you get to know them on a personal basis? Because this is a very heavy service industry. So do you have personable skills? Are you patient? Do you cater for their needs? Do you add value to their life? They could easily just go to any other studio, right? I only recently switched my mentality from race to the bottom, which is competing for the lowest price possible, but rather staying firm to your prices and getting others to recognize the value of your services and the value that you bring to their work. And I think that is a lot more sustainable. And if you want to do this for an extended period of time, racing to the bottom isn't the way to go, because you'll just be undercutting yourself. You'll be ruining the industry for other people. You're spoiling people's expectations of what prices are going to be and what the deliverables are for the prices that they're paying. It's just a really bad mindset to get into. Another thing is to not see others that are in the same lane as you as competition. I think it's very important to see that as collaborative opportunities, because there is no pie that people are fighting for. It's pretty much a game of helping each other out, adding value to each other's clientele. Say, for example, I specialize in mastering, and if you're a mixing engineer, instead of trying to do pseudo mastering and charge really, really cheap for your client and give them, a possible inferior product, I would say mix to the best of your ability, get paid for what you do best, and then send that off to someone like myself, like a mastering engineer, where that is all I do every single day. That is all I research about. That is all I think about when it comes to audio engineering. And then I get paid what I'm worth and add as much value as possible to the client's projects. So then the client gets an honest piece of quality and they get that assurance, and they'll definitely come back to you because you guys have built that rapport, trust, and communication. And you've done nothing but add value, bring another specialist on board to add even more value to that. It also helps everyone get compensated fairly, and it definitely drives away any kind of competitive negativity energy that's going on. I would say really believe in yourself and really trust the process, because no one's gonna do that for you at the end of the day. Friends and family can be there to support you, and my friends and family support me. But at the end of the day, I have to be the one to carry the torch. It's kind of like in the Olympics, They're not allowed to have friends and family, take over the torch and run alongside with them while they drink water or have coffee, right? So they're gonna have to be the one carrying the torch and running with it, and the friends and family can only support them from the sides and say, keep going, you're doing a great job, right? So if you truly believe that this is what you want to do, then I'd say go for it, man. And hit people up like myself who've been doing it for a little bit longer than you. There's no harm in asking questions, because what is the worst that can happen? They'll just say no, just move on to the next person. No ego, nothing to lose. Just keep going, keep asking questions, keep learning. Even at my stage, having done this for a little bit over 10 years, I'm still learning, I'm still asking questions, new technologies coming up, learning to adapt and change and not get fixated in your old ways. And yeah, these are all the strategies that you need to stay malleable and continue adding value to your clients. But that being said, I wanted to pass the floor on to you guys. If you are a business owner, how were you able to transition from your day job into doing a business full-time? What are some of your strategies and plans and struggles that you underwent in order to get to where you are today? Please share it down in the comments below, and I cannot wait to read about the wonderful journeys that you guys have undergone to become the beautiful and amazing figureheads that you guys are in your industry. Second question is by a gentleman named Carter Cook. You can find his Instagram handle called Carter Cook right there. And his questions is, I don't know if you're into suggestions. I am. But one of the things I've been trying to work on, and that I know a lot of other people struggle with, is mixing deeper voices into songs and trying not to get a clash in the low end with the drums, especially if you don't have the stems for the beats. So this is pretty common in the genre that I work in, which is mainly hip hop and R&B, and sometimes very, very heavy pounding rock. And basically, there are two problems here. The first problem is that a lot of people are buying their beats online from other producers or are just ripping it off of YouTube. That method only allows you to extract the stereo file and not the individual stems. And also on these online platforms where these producers are selling their beats, oftentimes the option to purchase said stems is a lot more expensive than just going with the stereo alternative. And I know some people still opt for the MP3 stereo file, which I highly recommend against. So first thing to address this problem is to always stick with the WAV file, especially if you want to retain a solid low end. The other thing is when you're trying to fit lower voices, like I kind of have a lower voice and I do make very heavy beats, is that with low frequency information, there's a lot more energy and information there for you to work with. So I actually wouldn't see this as a disadvantage, but rather an advantage to really experiment and abuse the vocal source. So what do I mean by that? Well, there are things that you can do, like chop off the highs of the track or downsample it, and from resampling, or making it more grainy with like a bit crusher kind of effect, just to add a little bit of a different flavor and personality to the beat. A famous producer who does this a lot is 40. He works for Drake. What 40 aims to do is to keep the vocals as warm and hi-fi as possible, and then give the beat kind of like a contrast where it may be grainy, it may be doing something completely different from the vocals, and that automatically separates and helps our ears identify and locate the differences in the contrast between the voice and the beat. Another thing you can try is don't be afraid to compress lower sitting vocals. Again, because there's a lot more information there. You can also bit crush the top. You can add harmonic exciters to add a little bit more top end to it. I would advise against using any kind of EQ on the top end unless you have a nice analog EQ with a top band. Using digital EQs to boost the top can make it quite sibilant and brittle, in which case then you'll be adding more processing, and then the voice is just gonna sound more and more unnatural. So what I would do is don't be afraid to compress the vocals really hard, add a little bit of harmonic excitement to the top before compression, so that when you feed, that excited top end into a compressor, the compressor will tighten up the low end and make it really, really solid and dense and bring out a little bit of that harmonic excitement as well. So you get a double whammy for the price of one. And definitely let me know in the comments below if this trick has helped. But I want to pass the question on to you guys. Do you struggle with this? And what are some of your techniques for fitting lower sitting vocals onto bass heavy tracks? And that's it for today, folks. I have to get back to work. It was a very short Q&A, but I will continue doing more of these in the future. If you like content like this, be sure to leave your questions, suggestions, and comments down in the section below, also known as the comments section. If you like this kind of content, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for every time we release something new that could be a potential game changer for you. And until next time, my name is Caveman, and we'll see you very, very soon.